came without warning. At 2:46 p.m. on March 11th, 2011, the ground in northeastern Japan started to move. Buildings up and down the eastern coast started to shake. In the capital, Tokyo, more than 500 kilometers from the epicenter, buildings were rocked to their foundations. Concrete walls buckled. 6 terrifying minutes. But when the shaking stopped, remarkably, in the capital and in many other areas, little damage was done.
Japan has had a lot of experience with earthquakes, and Japanese institutions, academic and otherwise, continue studying seismic engineering on an ongoing basis with that experience. And then this is an interesting...
Meet Riccardo Tosani, born in Italy and educated in Australia and the US. He's run his own architecture firm in Tokyo for the past 16 years. And when it comes to designing structures that can withstand earthquakes, Tosani has had a lot of practice. With billionaire clients demanding unique and modern designs, Tosani's task is to think creatively while also considering safety.
It can be a little tough, especially if you're setting out to create large spans or open spaces, large glazed areas, a sense of transparency in buildings or lightness.
But safety is of utmost importance. That's why Tosani and his team have to abide by strict seismic codes introduced by the government in 1981. Standards that every new building must meet before it can be constructed, and that existing buildings had to meet to avoid demolition. But some of those buildings didn't need major renovations. Take Tosani's office, for example. It's a former rice shop constructed in 1976. Tosani says Japanese architects back then always took precautions. Japan's seismic codes are currently the strictest in the world, but scientists here aren't resting on their laurels. Masaki Saruta and his colleagues at Shimizu Corporation are working on the latest in quake-proof technology. They've designed mechanisms found in some of Tokyo's tallest buildings. Saruta himself was carrying out a research experiment when the March 11th, 2011 quake struck.
At that time, we worked at my laboratory office, Shaky laboratory office. At first, in that building, the shaking laboratory is operating. The building is vibrate. So I couldn't understand the earthquake occurred. But the vibration of the building is so large. This was an earthquake, I noticed.
Another reason Saruta and his team didn't realize there was an actual quake at first is because of Shimizu technology installed in the foundation of its own research headquarters. These rubber shocks are fitted between the ground and first floors of the building. A camera recorded the effects of the 2011 earthquake. The shocks cut the movement above the ground floor by half. And Shimizu is testing other quake-proof technology with similar results.
There is a core in the center of the building. And
this pole right
yes,
in the middle.
Reinforced concrete building. Top of the core, we installed the rubber bearings.
And then if we look over here across the water, this
yes.
black building, what's happening here? What are you using here?
So that is we call partially float seismic isolation system. This building is float in the pool. That building is also 1/3 reduced of the ground motion.
But this kind of quake-proofing isn't cheap. It drives up the price of a building by an average 5%. But there are lower-cost alternatives. This is one of the latest technologies on the market, marketed by Shimizu Corporation. It's called the dynamic screw, and it's 20 to 30% cheaper than other technologies being sold at the moment. The way it works is it takes that lateral movement and turns it into rotation. You can see how that affects buildings. The one at the back has not been fitted with the dynamic screw, and this is what happens when the ground starts to move. But the majority of the destruction on March 11th, 2011 wasn't caused by the magnitude 9 earthquake. It was a massive tsunami, a wave estimated to be nearly 39 meters high that slammed into Miyako City on Amoe Peninsula. More than 15,800 people were killed. Entire communities were wiped out. And the aftermath triggered the nuclear crisis that the country still struggles with today. Professor Yasushi Asami from Tokyo University is one of the people tasked with making sure Tokyo doesn't suffer a similar fate. He and his researchers are working with urban planners on a city-wide disaster plan. Tsunami simulators help them design tidal wave defences. They're using this traffic flow map, which tracked 1.5 million mobile phone users across Tokyo during the 2011 disaster, as a way to learn from real-life experiences.
We gathered a lot of very detailed information, kind of real-time information, and we could understand people's behavior at the disaster. And that kind of behavior can be analyzed, and also maybe we can know how to guide the people to, for example, evacuate from the, say, tsunami or other disaster areas.
Building a giant wall to guard Tokyo, or any city, from the wrath of the ocean would be impractical, if not impossible. So Professor Asami says the best bet for the city's residents, if a tsunami were to occur, is early detection and an organised escape plan.
The evacuation is very important and very critical because the tsunami is moving so fast and it's more than the running speed of the people. So actually, within a very limited time, the people have to move up to the higher place and safe place, or move very far from the tsunami. So it's very important to for